Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. So yesterday we studied about sexual reproduction in plants. Today we are going to study about sexual reproduction in human beings. It is an important topic. Okay, before studying about the different parts of reproductive system in human beings, you have been given some questions on page number 28. Can you recall questions? First one, which different hormones control the functions of human reproductive system through chemical coordination? Okay, the question is, what are the different types of hormones which control the reproductive system? So there are basically four hormones. The first one is FSH and LH. FSH is follicle stimulating hormone. It is follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Okay, and luteinizing hormone. The second hormone is estrogen and progesterone in case of females and testosterone in case of males. I repeat, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Okay, these hormones are responsible for the sexual characteristics in human beings. Estrogen and progesterone in female and testosterone in male. Now the next question is, which hormones are responsible for changes in human body occurring during onset of sexual maturity? Okay, so onset of sexual maturity, the changes which occur in the body when a person enters into puberty. Okay, when a person starts to become mature. What is puberty? P-U-B-E-R-T-Y. Puberty is the age of 12 and so on, 12 to 20 or so, 12 to 18. Okay, that is the age when the body becomes mature, starts to become mature. That age is called as adolescence. That range of age is called as adolescence. That is from 12 to 18 or 20, and that beginning it is said to be puberty. So what are the hormones which brings about sexual changes in the body at the time of puberty? It is testosterone in case of male and progesterone and estrogen in case of female. Next, why has the government of India enacted the law to fix the minimum age of marriage as 18 in girls and 21 in boys? You all might be knowing that there is a fixed age, that is 18 in case of girls. Below 18, the government doesn't allow the girls to marry, and below 21, the boys are not allowed to marry. Why? It is because sexual maturity is attained at that age. By that age, both the boys and girls become mature, and after attaining maturity, then they can marry. Okay, because marriage, after marriage, there is coming together, that is the different processes, the different changes which take place in human body. For those changes, the body has to be ready. Okay, so the body becomes ready by the time of 18 in case of girls and by the time of 21 in case of boys. So that is why that age is decided. Okay, now these are the three questions. These questions could be asked. You may write the answers in the textbook itself. Okay, right. Okay, so this is the diagram of human male reproductive system. Okay, human male reproductive system consists of some basic parts like testis. Okay, testis, urinary bladder, penis, and some glands like seminal vesicles, prostate glands, and Cowper's glands. First of all, we will study the different parts of human male reproductive system. The human male reproductive system, the main part is the testis. This is the testis. The testis is placed in a sac which is below the abdomen. Okay, it is outside the body actually. It is not in the body. The scrotum or the scrotal sac, it is placed outside the body because this testis requires a lower temperature for production of sperms. The sperms are produced inside the testis, which is the male gamete. Okay, inside the male body, male gamete is produced. What is the male gamete? That is the sperms. Where are the sperms produced? Sperms are produced in the testis. Where is the testis placed? Testis is placed in the scrotum below the body. Okay, below the body. It is separate from the body because the low temperature is required for production of sperms. The normal temperature of the body is not enough. It has to be a lower temperature than the normal temperature. So it is placed separately from the body, that is in the abdominal, below the abdomen. Okay, so that is the placement of testis. So the testis produces the sperms. That is the first point. It is placed in scrotum below the abdomen. Now inside the testis there are some seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules, where inside the seminiferous tubules there is an epithelium which is germinal epithelium. Now you don't have the elaborate study of these, detailed study you don't have, you just have the terms. Okay, these terms should be there in your answer. Okay, so inside the testis there are some seminiferous tubules. Inside the seminiferous tubules there is germinal epithelium. That germinal epithelium undergo meiosis to produce sperms. Okay, I repeat, in the testis there are some seminiferous tubules. Inside the seminiferous tubules there is germinal epithelium. The germinal epithelium undergo meiosis to produce sperm. So the sperm passes from epididymis to the vas deferens. From the vas deferens it reaches the ejaculatory duct. Okay, it reaches the ejaculatory duct. At that position, that is the ejaculatory duct, the seminal vesicle secretes its secretion into the ejaculatory duct. Now sperm is a cell which can swim. If it has to swim, it needs a liquid substance. So that liquid substance which is necessary, that liquid substance is produced by this seminal vesicle. So the seminal vesicle produces a liquid substance and it is given out into this ejaculatory duct. So at the ejaculatory duct, the sperms meet the semen, that is the secretion of seminal vesicle. From that it enters into this duct, that is urinogenital duct. It enters into the urinogenital duct. This is the urinogenital duct or urinogenital duct. In case of human beings, in case of male, the urinary bladder is connected to kidney also. Okay, it is connected to kidney also, and it is connected to the reproductive system also. That is, the opening of reproductive system and excretory system is the same, but the production of urine is separate, the production of semen is separate. It doesn't occur at the same time. Okay, so urinary bladder, it is connected to the kidney. It is having a duct which is called as urinogenital duct. This ejaculatory duct opens into the urinogenital duct. In the urinogenital duct, it comes in contact with prostate gland. This is the prostate gland, and with the Cowper's gland. The secretions of the prostate gland and Cowper's gland also joins the sperm and seminal vesicle liquid. So it forms a liquid which is called as semen. What is semen? Semen is a mixture of sperm plus seminal vesicle secretion plus prostate gland secretion. Okay, I repeat. What is semen? Semen is a secretion which contains sperms, seminal vesicle secretion and prostate gland secretion. What is the function of it? It provides a liquid medium and it provides nutrition to the sperms, because sperm has to travel a far away distance inside the male body itself. So as it has to travel far away distance, it has to swim, it requires energy. It has a mitochondria to produce energy, but it requires nutrients for production of energy, and that is given by this liquid, that is semen. So the semen passes through the urinogenital duct and it is passed out through the urethra through the opening of this organ which is called as penis. Okay, so these are the points which should be there in your answer. First is scrotum, that is the scrotal sac in which the testis is placed. So inside the testis there are seminiferous tubules. In the seminiferous tubules, the germinal epithelium undergo meiosis to produce sperms. Sperms are stored in the epididymis. From the epididymis it enters the vas deferens. From the vas deferens it reaches the ejaculatory duct. At the ejaculatory duct it meets with the secretion of the seminal vesicle. From there, the ejaculatory duct, it enters into urinogenital duct, and at the urinogenital duct there is a secretion which is called as semen. What is semen? Semen is a secretion which contains sperm plus seminal vesicle liquid plus prostate gland secretion. Okay, and the testis produces the hormone called as testosterone. So these much points should be there in your answer if you are having a question on explain human male reproductive system. Okay, they could ask you the diagram also. Okay, you may write. So this is the structure of sperm, which you don't have in your syllabus, but I have given it to you for your understanding. So this is how sperm looks under a microscope. It is having a mitochondria. The mitochondria is for ATP production. What is the purpose of mitochondria? It is for energy production. Why does it need energy? Because it has to travel a distance of about 6.5 meter, that is from the testis, epididymis, then vas deferens, then ejaculatory duct, then urinogenital duct. Okay, through all these organs, when it has to pass, the distance it has to cross, it is about 6.5 meter. Okay, for that distance it requires energy, and that energy is produced by the mitochondria with the help of nutrition which is present in the fluid that is called as semen. Okay, just now we discussed what is semen. Semen is a fluid which contains sperms plus secretions of seminal vesicle plus secretions of prostate gland. It contains fructose which provides energy, with the help of which energy is produced inside the sperm. What is the size of the sperm? It is about 60 micrometer. It is very small. Okay, but it could be observed under a compound microscope. Okay, you may write this. Okay, so this is about human female reproductive system. What are the main organs of human female reproductive system? It is a pair of ovaries, pair of oviducts, uterus and vagina. These are the important parts, important organs of a female reproductive system. I repeat, a pair of ovaries, a pair of oviducts, uterus and vagina. Okay, now you may see in the diagram, there are two ovaries. These are the two ovaries. In this case, I have shown it, just ruffled it. Okay, in this case, I have shown these flower-like structures. They are oocytes or ovum which are produced inside the ovary. Follicles which are produced inside the ovary. Now, what do you mean by follicles? That we will see in the next lecture. That means when we study the topic menstruation, it is a topic which is comparatively longer, but a process which has to be understood very well. So that process, it starts from here. That means inside the ovary, what is produced? The ovum is produced. The ovum is produced inside the ovary. From the ovary, it enters into this funnel-like structure. Okay, funnel-like structure. It is a funnel-like structure. It is having an opening at the center. That funnel-like structure is having an opening at the center. So who produces ovum? Ovum is produced by the ovary. One ovary, each ovary alternately. Okay, that means in 1 month only one ovum is produced. It could be by any of these ovaries. Okay, any of the ovary, that means alternately they produce an ovum every month. Okay, that ovum enters into this funnel-like structure. From this funnel-like structure, it passes into the oviduct. This duct is called as oviduct. Okay, it is also called as fallopian tube. It is also called as fallopian tube. It is also called as fallopian tube. So I will show you the ovum. If this is the ovum produced, okay, the ovum produced enters into the funnel. It moves Okay, it moves through the oviduct. Now this ovum, it does not have any tail. Okay, it does not have a tail for swimming. For sperm, it is having a tail for swimming. I didn't tell you anything about the tail. Okay, for a sperm there is a tail. That tail is for swimming of the sperm. That here the ovum does not have a tail, but it has to move this much through the oviduct. For that there are some hair-like structures here. There are some hair-like structures in the oviduct which is called as cilia. Okay, so inside the oviduct there are hair-like structures which is called as cilia. Okay, so with the help of cilia the ovum will move. It will move through the oviduct and it reaches the oviduct here. Okay, about a distance before uterus. It remains here for about 2 days. Okay, it remains here for about 2 days. Now, why does it remain there, that we will see. If the woman is married, or if the woman has undergone sexual intercourse, then the semen will enter from here. The semen will be deposited here. The semen will be deposited here. Semen is placed by the male. From the male, the sperms will swim. Okay, the sperms will swim. It will swim over here and it reaches till the oviduct. It has to reach till the oviduct. Understood? So, if the sperm is present, then the sperm will swim. Again, it has to swim here also. That is why it requires more amount of nutrition, which is provided by the semen. Okay, so here the semen is placed. From the semen, it passes through the vagina, it passes through the cervix, it passes through the uterus and reaches the oviduct. If with the oviduct, inside the oviduct, the fertilization take place. What is fertilization? Fertilization is the fusion of sperm and egg. Okay, the sperm and egg fuses to form a zygote. This zygote, okay, by fertilization, zygote is formed. That zygote will undergo mitotic division and gets converted into an embryo. By the formation of embryo, it will fall into this. Now, by that time, what the uterus has done, okay, during this time, during this movement also, the uterus is producing a wall of blood vessels. It is producing a wall of blood vessels all over the uterus. It is for welcoming the embryo which is going to come. Okay, it is for welcoming the embryo which is going to come. If the fertilization take place, that embryo, okay, the embryo will come here. It is catched by these walls. Any of the walls it is catched and it gets implanted here. Okay, it gets implanted into the wall of the uterus. After getting implanted, it develops into a baby. It develops into a baby. And it remains attached to the navel. You know the navel, bembi mantat in Marathi. Okay, the umbilical cord. Here I will show you the umbilical cord correctly. If this is the baby, okay, if this is the baby, there is a cord which is connected from the wall, from this wall to the navel of the baby. Okay, this is said to be umbilical cord, which is cut off at the time of parturition, that is at the time of delivery. Okay, so there is an umbilical cord. This embryo grows into a baby. It grows and grows into a baby. Okay, I will show you a bigger embryo here. I will show you a bigger embryo. I will show you. I don't know how to draw a baby. I have shown a structure like this. So, and this baby will grow inside the uterus and it is connected with the help of a cord which is called as umbilical cord. It is called as umbilical cord. It is not there in your textbook. Okay, it is not there. So, this cord is called as umbilical cord. And these blood preparations, okay, this is all blood. This is all blood vessels. Okay, these are all blood vessels. What is the purpose? This is connected to female circulatory system. That means the circulatory system of the mother. Okay, it is connected to the circulatory system of the mother. This blood preparation, that is called as placenta. That is called as placenta. Here there is a term placenta. So what happens? I repeat, the sperm is deposited, the semen is deposited here. From here the sperm enters, it passes through the uterus and reaches the oviduct. In the oviduct, fertilization takes place. Fertilization, zygote is formed. Zygote undergoes development by mitotic division. It slips into the uterus. By this time the uterus has developed blood vessels all over. That development of blood vessels is known as placenta. Into the placenta it gets embedded. Okay, it gets embedded and it grows into a baby. That baby is connected, okay, by a cord that is called as umbilical cord. That umbilical cord consists of blood vessels. These are also blood vessels. Okay, so with the help of umbilical cord the baby is connected to the placenta, and after about 9 months, it remains here for about 9 months, that is about 36 weeks. After about 9 months, by the production of hormones, this baby is passed out through this vagina. That process is known as delivery. In biology it is called as parturition. So this is what is happening if there is fertilization, if the fertilization has occurred. If the fertilization doesn't occur, then there is no umbilical cord, there is no placenta, there is no embryo, no baby, no zygote. Okay, no zygote, anything. It is not there. There is no sperm. Okay, as there is no sperm, what has happened to the ovum inside? The ovum is not fertilized. If the ovum is not fertilized, it falls into the uterus. Okay, and the placenta, these blood vessels, it does not catch the ovum. So along with the ovum, all these blood vessels is passed out through the vagina. Okay, all these blood vessels degenerate, all these degenerate, and it is passed out through the vagina. This process is called as menstruation. Okay, so this process is called as menstruation. So what is menstruation? At every month an ovum is produced inside the ovary. It enters into this funnel like structure. It comes through the oviduct. This cilia helps in movement of ovum through the oviduct, that is also called as fallopian tube. It remains here for about 2 days. After that, if it is not fertilized, okay, no sperm is coming, it falls into the uterus, and as there is no sperm, as there is no fertilization, these all blood vessels which was produced by the uterus, inside the uterus, every month it produces these blood vessels. Okay, so every month, if there is no fertilization, along with the blood vessels and the ovum, this ovum is washed out of the body. Okay, washed out of the body. That process is called as menstruation. Okay, now by the age of 45 to 50, by the age of 45 to 50, what happens? 45 to 50 years, in case of a female, this production of ovum stops. The production of ovum stops because there are no hormones produced which are necessary for that in its body. So as the production of ovum stops, there is no formation of blood vessels and there is no menstruation process. That is, this process is lost. That there is no menstruation process, and that condition is called as menopause. Okay, so these terms which will be discussed in the next term also, but there will be no diagram. That is why I discussed it in this lecture. Okay, now in this case, so we have to study about human female reproductive system, which consists of pair of ovaries, pair of oviducts, uterus, vagina, and a gland called as Bartholin's gland. The ovum is produced inside the ovary. It enters into the funnel-like structure and it passes through the oviduct. And the cilia helps in movement of ovum through the oviduct. This much you have to write. Now, if you are having a question on write a note on or explain human male reproductive system, human female reproductive system. Human male reproductive system, you have to write the complete paragraph for human male reproductive system, and for human female reproductive system you have to write the complete paragraph of human female reproductive system. You don't have to write anything about sperm. Okay, in the box what has been given, you don't have to write anything about that. Okay, hope you have understood. You may write this in your notebook. Okay, so this is the homework. Okay, so with diagram explain human male reproductive system, human female reproductive system. While explaining human male reproductive system, you have to write both the paragraphs of male reproductive system, and for female reproductive system you are having only one paragraph. Only that much you have to write. You don't have to write anything about fertilization, placenta, menstruation, menopause, nothing you have to write. You have to write only about the pair of ovaries, pair of oviducts, uterus, vagina and Bartholin's gland, and about cilia. Okay, only this much you have to write. Okay, so hope you have understood. If you are having any doubt, you may ask. Thank you.